No, and we have written to EFCC to say that, I will celebrate my birthday with you. My birthday is 16th February on Monday. The president cannot tell me what to do. Nuhu made the call and made the order that I must be in custody yesterday.
How do you know he made the call?
He made the call because we listened to their calls. The government thinks that they're the only ones that listen to calls. Came out of the plane, and a young man that is well dressed with a nice suit came to me and said, I am from the DSS, Department of State Security, and would like to meet with you in our office. I said, that's fine. Where is the letter of invitation? He said, my bosses have it. I will escort you to them. I said, I'm going through immigration. I have to do that. Just get me the letter. So he said, okay. But I noticed that as I started going, more and more people came out. Apparently, I didn't know because I slept through most of the flight, and even when we landed, I didn't call any of my guys to learn what was going on. But apparently, they had moved about 50 DSS operatives to the airport with the specific instructions that I should be detained, I should be abducted and detained. I will come to other details. But so we started working, but I saw more people coming out. I'm a politician, I'm used to crowds, I'm used to people surrounding me. And then as we moved forward, we came to the point that I either go right for immigration or left for the e-visa. And the two officers came forward, one big fat one and another about my height, and said, we are from the DSS, sir, we are going this way. We need to go to your office. I said, I'm not going to your office. I'm not going anywhere until you show me a letter of invitation. Your guy said you have a letter. He said, no, sir. I said, if you don't have a letter, I'm not going. You know my house. I live very close to the DSS headquarters. I can even walk down there if you bring a letter of invitation. So I tried to turn right, and they tried to force me to go left. I said, look, don't touch me. I'm going with my passport to have it stamped. And I'm not going where you want. He said, you have to go to where I want. I said, even the president cannot tell me I have to do anything. It's a free country, it's a democratic country, and I don't have to do anything that I do not wish to do. So you are just a middle level or senior civil servant. The president cannot tell me what to do. Don't say I have to. It's inappropriate language. And I turned right. By then, of course, some of the passengers had come and began to form a crowd. So I turned right and I moved on, presented my passport, it got stamped. And remember, before you stamp the passport, a DSS operative has to look at it and then hand over to the immigration officer. This were done. If there was any issue that is really official, the DSS operative would have told me we've been asked to hold your passport. So they stamped, gave me my passport, and I walked out. But these guys were still following me, saying I have to go with them. I said, you are wasting your time. I'm not going. I'm a citizen of this country, and I've been in government long enough to know the process, the procedure for any investigation. You are free to invite me, and I have been in government long enough to respect institutions. So just give me a letter of invitation. If you don't have a letter of invitation, forget it. I'm not going. But he felt that he could take me by force with the 50 armed DSS operatives he had. But by then, the crowd had become bigger. Passengers from the plane that came with me, as well as the people that came to receive me, now surrounded and said, that's not going to happen. They came up with a second scam. Where is your passport? I said, it's just been stamped. You saw it stamped. Yes, and then one of the immigration officers that is the surrogate said, no, we want to check something on the passport. I said, sorry, once the passport is stamped, it's my private property. And I held on to it. But one of my aides quickly took it away from me, maybe thinking that he would protect it better. That's the aide that got beaten up, and they seized the passport from him.
They beat him up.
They beat him up. If I had the passport with me, I would I would not be talking this. So this is essentially what happened. They are overpowered. They came with 50 people, but I think maybe 45 out of the 50 decided that this is not appropriate or this is not possible. And I was actually quite touched, Charles, by the way people spontaneously, without any knowledge or any plan, decided that this must be resisted. And I think it portends a danger that the security agencies need to have a rethink. Because once people begin to lose confidence in the neutrality of such institutions, we are on our way to an EFCC. I want to say very clearly, it wasn't the EFCC, okay? It was the DSS.
Right.
But the DSS were procured to abduct me by the ICPC that has never communicated with me ever, okay? The EFCC had written to me while I was away to say that I would like to have a chat with you over certain issues. And I replied, my lawyers replied that, well, I'm not in the country, I'm on my annual vacation. And once I know the date of return, I will let you know. And we have written to EFCC to say that, you know, I will celebrate my birthday with you. My birthday is 16th February on Monday. I will celebrate my birthday. I will come and see you at 10 a.m. on the 16th. So it wasn't the EFCC. But my lawyer thought it was the EFCC, but it was not. Subsequently, we found out that it was the ICPC that procured the DSS to abduct me and then hand over to them. And this is a modus operandi of the ICPC that increasingly has become a personal tool of Nuhu Ribadu. Nuhu made the call and made the order that I must be in custody yesterday.
How do you know he made the call?
He made the call because we listened to their calls. The government thinks that they're the only ones that listen to calls, but we also have our ways. He made the call, he gave the order. And
so you tapped his phone calls, did you?
Someone tapped his phone and told me.
Because that technically is illegal.
I know, but the government does it all the time. They listen to our calls all the time without a court order. But someone tapped his phone and told us that he gave the order. So, but the EFCC, I think, has shown itself to be more professional in this particular instance. And on Monday, by the grace of God, I'll go and see them. Yesterday, around 5 p.m., the ICPC finally did the right thing, not the DSS that tried to abduct me, by bringing a letter to my house to say, we want to see you on Friday the 13th. My lawyer wrote back to say, guys, my client is not an idle person that has no program. He's just waiting for a letter from anyone. We've received your letter. We will, now that you've written an invitation, you've had the courage to write an invitation, we will honor the invitation. But on Monday, we are going to EFCC that has written before. So we'll go there. After the EFCC, we'll go to ICPC on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know what the lawyer has written, but you know this. So this is the current state of things as far as security advisor, the governor of Kaduna State and the chairman of ICPC met, and they have decided that I must be abducted today.
Not arrested, but abducted.
Yeah, abducted because, you know, arrest, you know, people use arrest. They don't know that arrest has a legal meaning. Arrest means a lawful activity, okay, with a warrant. The police have, under the Police Act, they have a clear, you know, they can arrest you without a warrant. But every other agency must go to a judge and show cause, okay? So when you try to take a person without a valid order, it's not an arrest, it's an abduction.
But critics,
civilized countries, you don't start investigation by abducting a person or even arresting a person and keeping him while you're investigating. It's violation of human rights. You do your investigation, okay? Financial records today are largely electronic. They can be hidden. You do your investigation, you get your records.
Yeah, but how do you know they haven't done their investigation, which is why they're coming for you now?
They have done their investigation and have found nothing.
Suggesting that political motives are at play.
Absolutely. Look, some of the professionals in this institution feel very bad that they are being compelled. And when some of my guys that have been invited or abducted face them, when they finish all the questions, they tell them, look, we're sorry, but this is all political. Why don't you guys go and settle with them? Settle with them means what? Submit to be a member of APC, agree that Tinubu will have a second term. That's each and every decision and action we took as government of Kaduna State was well documented. I'm probably the only governor that insists that recipients of security vote must sign. We want their names on the record. Okay? The Commissioner of Internal Security has a wide degree of discretion to do things, but I've told him, keep your records, because one day questions will be asked. We are a heavily documented government, Charles.
Well, the reason
everything that has come to me, up to my level, for approval or endorsement, I have records. I have records.
Right.
So I'm not afraid of scrutiny, but I am not. But I am suspicious of malicious scrutiny.
Right. And so you should,
any scrutiny in good faith.
So you
I'm
should
fine
be.
with it.
So you should.
Governors that from day one took the position on the advice of my security cabinet that we must never negotiate with cattle rustlers, with bandits. The position of the Kaduna State government when I was governor is the only repentant bandit is a dead one. We never negotiated that. We never did that. We never paid any group for kidnapping anyone.
Right. Okay.
In spite of the pressure. So anybody that claims that is just in another dreamland. Now, as far as I know, all right, the Commissioner of Internal Security brings me proposals for security spending. There is a standing order every month. If there is any special emergency, he brings and says, we want to do this, and I approve. He decides what he does with it, okay? If he chooses on his own to go and give money to what you call armed groups, I don't know about that.
Right.
But to the best of my knowledge, the position of our government as a government is that we don't negotiate with bandits, we don't pay them, we don't do this, we don't do that, we don't do this. Our security strategy in the state is two-pronged. Okay, there were problems we inherited, okay, around communal violence, tribal intolerance, and so on, which Kaduna has a long history of. We had a security strategy for that. And then there are the emerging threats. When we first came, it was cattle rustling, which metamorphosed into banditry, okay? We had very clear strategy on that. Now, on the first set of security threats, we studied all the commissions of inquiry on previous acts of communal violence in Kaduna, and we came to certain conclusions. And around that, we developed a strategy of zero tolerance to any nonsense from any group that thinks that it can advance its interest through violence. I was very hard on that. I did not allow anybody to do that. And throughout my 8 years in Kaduna, we only had one instance of communal violence in December 2016, and I shut down the 3 local governments affected through Christmas and New Year. Let me land. Okay? And it never happened again because we took very decisive, clear steps that sent a message that something has changed. Okay? Now, but we knew that there are people that don't even live in Kaduna that make social media posts and so on that sometimes can ignite the problem in Kaduna. And I'll just give one quick instance. Somebody living in Port Harcourt or somewhere, or Lagos, said that some students of College of Education were killed.
Yes.
All right? And we checked. All right? The long and short of it was that because I called the commission of what's happening, how did this happen?
Yeah, that was a chap called Maidat Joseph. Was it Maidat Joseph or Luka Biniat?
No, Luka Biniat was stringing for Vanguard. It was a different...
he was stringing for Vanguard.
It was a different
Maidat Joseph was Leadership newspaper.
Yeah.
Anthony Jacobson of Authentic newspaper.
I know Midat. Midat was a reporter for one of the newspapers.
Yeah, Leadership.
Biniat, I remember. Okay, yeah. Biniat's issue was different.
About this proposed bill before the U.S. Congress, the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act 2026. So there's named Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso in connection with alleged religious freedom violations. I mean, that is clearly no small matter. When the American legislature invokes your name in the context of human rights, it raises the stakes far beyond domestic politics. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, look, first let me say that, as Nigerians, we should not get carried away and be pawns in what is essentially domestic political posturing, okay? Because this whole Christian genocide stuff and the latest bill is just the Republicans playing to their base, the Christian evangelical base in the US. It has nothing to do with Nigeria. No, I want to lay the foundation because it's not just about Kwankwaso. It's something that every Nigerian should be conscious about and know. So that's one. So all this posturing, let's know it for what it is. It has nothing to do about concern. It has nothing to do about this. It's domestic politics in the US. Secondly, I think it is heartbreaking for me as a citizen of Nigeria and someone that has been in the highest levels of government that as a government, as a country, we are unable to protect all our citizens, whether they are Christians or Muslims. Everyone is at risk. We all know that. And that, for me, is what we should be worried about. And it is clear that the country is not secure. The security architecture has failed. The personnel are incompetent or not doing the job. And we need to ask some very difficult questions so that that is recalibrated, so that every Nigerian will feel safe. But coming to the matter of Kwankwaso, I think it is most unfair to tag Kwankwaso. And I'm trying to figure out whether it is the $9 million lobbying money that led to the list of Kwankwaso because Kwankwaso has refused to move to APC. Because the evil that this government is capable of is beyond your imagination, Charles. They may be behind it because Kwankwaso has refused to move to the APC, and there are rumors that he will move to the ADC.
So you're saying there may be.
Yeah.
They may be behind it.
They may be behind it. In fact, I cannot think of anyone else because look, 12 northern states implemented Sharia, okay? The first state to do so was Zamfara. I thought Zamfara should be listed there if at all anyone is to be blamed for this Sharia fiasco, all right? Kwankwaso followed suit like many other northern governors, and Kano was not very strict in even implementing Sharia. So he's not one of the governors that you say was a fundamentalist or, you know, those that cut off the hands of that Lady Jengebe or whatever are walking the streets, but they are in APC. Nobody is mentioning the states or mentioning Yerima Mbakura. Nobody is mentioning Abdulaziz Yari. These are governors of Zamfara state that protected and promoted Sharia, but it is Kwankwaso that is being targeted. It makes me want to ask questions. Where is this coming from? So I think we should be very discerning as Nigerians and not get carried away.
Well, that's why we're asking questions, because nobody has quite those answers. I mean,
want me to run for president?
Well, I couldn't possibly comment on that.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking you the question.
Let me tell you, I have said this over and over. I'm not a candidate for any office. In fact, I ought to have retired. But for the disaster that I contributed in foisting on Nigerians, I would have been in Egypt, writing my books and completing my PhD and learning to be fluent in Arabic. That was my life plan after Kaduna. But what is happening. The country is in bad shape, and every Nigerian is suffering across religious, ethnic, regional, and whatever divide. Everyone is having to go through a lot.
So you're going to run for president?
And side by side with that, you know, you have this affluence and massive diversion of public resources to a few individuals. It hurts me a lot. But the decision to run for president has not been made by me. I have not made a decision to run for president.
But it's somewhere in the back of your mind, is it?
No. It's not at the back of my mind. There are people that have come out, have indicated their interest, and I think they will do a good job.
So are you saying definitively that you will not run?
No, look, you
or you're leaving that option open?
You never say never in politics, and 24 hours is a long time. Even if I tell you I will not run today, tomorrow it can change, because if all the leaders of my party, for instance, come and say, look, Nasir, you know, all those that are running have decided that they will leave it, you run.
Right.
Okay?
But for now, it's not your intention.
For now, no. It's not in my playbook.
Okay.